Okay.
Okay, Kevin. So let's
Yeah.
say I'm now a final year student. I have this experience, exchange overseas, let's say in Europe or in US, and I'm fascinated by the culture over there. And I've been thinking, should I get a job overseas, let's say in Europe, UK, or in US, versus getting a job in Hong Kong? Like, have you considered, like, or have you met students with this question? And what would you give them advice to make their own decision?
Yeah. I have met quite a few students in a similar position. Generally, if they ask for my opinion, uh, I would always support them to go overseas for a number of reasons. One is just broaden your own perspectives of the world, right? Uh, is a very fundamental thing. I think not just in work, but in life also. Uh, I'm a benefactor of that because I spent time overseas when I was young. And then I traveled for work in other countries when I was younger. And then before finally settled down back in Hong Kong. And the benefit that I had was because you're not just going there just for a short period of time. You actually live there, you have friends there. You can take your time to really understand their lifestyle, culture, tradition. And with all of that, what it means is you can understand how they think and why would they think about certain things a certain way. But more importantly, how they express themselves, kind of like a conversational style. And what do they mean? What are their intention when they say certain things? And if I hadn't been to those places and lived there and absorbed those experiences with the time that I had, if I was just staying in Hong Kong and I would just interpret those information or communication just verbally as is, I might well misinterpret some of that. And that may impact relationships between me and those people. For example, they crack a joke, they didn't mean anything by it, but I take offense to it, for example, which is quite a common thing if you don't understand the joke and if you don't understand why they crack a joke that way. So those kind of things to me, it sounds quite trivial, but actually in real life is very important because we're talking about cultural acceptance, between different people. And if you aspire to work not just locally in a local firm servicing only local customers, and you want to expose yourself to a more international, more diverse set of clients and businesses, I think those experiences would definitely help you. Now, with that said, it comes with other considerations. For example, maybe you need to talk to your parents, have a think about what they say, and discuss about your plans. And if they have certain concerns, I think we should just talk it out. And also, there's the uncertainty of you having to be independent, pretty much by yourself, which if you're doing it for the first time, is always a little bit apprehensive, right? Because all of us mostly we've been looked after well by our family since young, and we've never really had to do something all on our own in a foreign country without the support and assistance and of our parents. So those require some thoughts, and but also your personal conviction. Why do you want to do this? So I had my reasons, but to be honest, if I were to be at the age of the person that I'm speaking to now, I probably won't have these reasons that I've just told you. These reasons are just for me looking back and I say, oh, it makes sense now. For me at that time, would be purely out of curiosity, purely out of, oh, I think it's just cool to be there. I've never tried it before. I wish I can go there and just live like this and go to the beach and then, how cool it would be. So it comes from a very relatively innocent place without much of a forethought about where it's going to take me, 10, 15 years from now. But I'm sharing this perspective only because I'm in a position to, just to give you a little bit of an extra context to, how I would think about it now, in addition to how I thought about it then.
So if we flip the position, let's say I've been studying in overseas for some time now, used to
Right.
the independent lifestyle, can look after myself, and now I have a choice between staying overseas or getting back to Hong Kong to get a job in Hong Kong or stay overseas, continue the career. So if someone's in that position between staying overseas and going back to Hong Kong, how would you give them advice if they are struggling to make a decision?
Well, if they're struggling, I would think that both options has its appeal. That's why they're struggling. If it was so overwhelmingly positive, they wouldn't be struggling. So they either like the environment, like the job, or both. But then they also miss Hong Kong for other reasons. Maybe they're missing a family, they're missing their friends, and so it then comes down to your priorities, basically. Uh, you can't do both at the same time. First of all, you have to accept that. Uh, so you have to press a button, this or that. And what would give you more satisfaction, for the amount of time that you are prepared to commit? For example, if you want to, so let's say you have a job offer, in overseas, you don't have to stay there forever. You might have a plan, say, okay, well, let me just try this out for 2 years, for example. If I like it, I'll reach that point and I'll revise my decision. Do I want to continue to stay? But in this meantime, I am spending 2 years of good quality time in a foreign country, learning their culture, learning the way of work, which is going to have an enduring benefit for the rest of my life. So is that worth my while for this 2 years? Because Hong Kong is always going to be here. My families and friends are always going to be here. I'm just taking the immediate short-term 2 years to buy me an insurance policy that is going to benefit me for the rest of my life. Is it worth it for you? If it is, then I think you would take that decision. Conversely, if you miss your family and friends a lot, and relative to that option, you don't think it's worthwhile, then it's okay, but I think if you look at a probability, right? I always think like this: what is more likely to happen, given a choice and given a desire? So you are in a position that, you're already in a foreign country, you have an opportunity, a job is waiting for you, is ready to make an offer, and then you can stay there and make a living and enjoy this experience. Hong Kong, like I said, is always going to be here. That option is always available at the click of a finger, right? Anytime you don't like this job, just pack up and go, come back. So to me, personally, that's an easy decision. I'm just going to stay. And if I don't like it, I'm just going to come back. Because if you come back to Hong Kong right now versus later, you're in the same position. You have no job. You have to find a new job, right? And so it's just a timing thing. And wouldn't it be nice if you can just start a job right now, make some money, enjoy your life a little bit, while you're still young, and you never know, what these opportunities will take you. And it doesn't happen every day, you see, Francis. Not everybody every day get this chance to have an overseas job lined up, waiting for you and say, here's the offer, I'm going to pay you this much, please come work here. So I personally would say, yeah, let me give it a try.
And there's also the concern financial perspective, right? What if I have two jobs offer lined up? One is overseas, but lower pay, and you also factor in the living expense, living alone, all the traveling, like dining. But if you come back to Hong Kong, stay with your family, you get a lot of living expense covered, right? And what if the pay in Hong Kong is higher? So that becomes
Right.
a great dilemma, right? So I think that's well, in that case, then we will figure it out by then. But how many time
I,
is
I
like that, right? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if I am at that beginning stage of my career, which is just starting, I wouldn't put that much emphasis on the money part. I need enough to live, well enough to enjoy my life for sure. But if I say, well, I don't save as much as I can, uh, if I were in Hong Kong, to be honest, the beginning of your career, whatever salary that you have, whatever you can save, is going to pale into insignificance versus what you'll be making in the peak earning power in the later part of your life. So I personally would value experience and exposure at this point more so than the actual, money, because the best is yet to come, and there's far more where this is coming from. Right now is time for you to identify uh, opportunities, make friends, make connections with people, understand the differences between this world and that world, so that you can have a unique perspective when you come back that other people may not have. And you're generating this alpha for yourself, an edge that you can say to the employer and saying that, okay, well, I'm not just a normal guy. I've been here, I've been doing that, and I know this, and I've been doing that, I know that, in addition to knowing all this. So I can give you this and I can contribute to that. So a lot of people don't really rate these soft things, which I think is far more important in the current world of technology than the hard things, because hard things ultimately get done by computers.